Yeah, it's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the...
Oh, we are live. We are live. How are y'all doing? Hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing evening as we record this. For those of y'all that are new to pre-PT grind, my name is 𝙄𝗼𝙧𝙚-𝙯. I am a physical therapist, PT school acceptance coach, all that cool stuff. But more importantly, our job is to help you guys get into physical therapy school without having to waste a lot of time and money. And what you are tuning in for tonight has become my favorite series. It's when we bring in students that have been a part of our coaching program, the Acceptance System, to share their experience, their story, their journey. And the reason why this is so cool, and if you've missed out on these, like tune in tonight and then go back and watch all the other ones afterwards, is because every story is different. Like literally, like when you hear tonight's story with Shannon, you'll be like, yo, like that is very different from anything that I have seen with other students. And the reason why we do it is mainly because your story is different. The things that you're going through right now, like, see, Shannon's a mom, right? So things that you're going through right now, like, are very different from someone else. And our hope is that as you watch this series, as you listen to these real life stories, everything is uncut right now. This is just a real deal. As you're listening to this, you'll be able to say, wow, like, you know, maybe I can do it too, right? Because I think a lot of times we think that there's a certain type of student that can get it, you know, that can get accepted into PT school, but this is meant to inspire the heck out of you. So enjoy tonight's episode. We're going to be having a guest appearance throughout the episode as well, which is going to be super cool. What's her name, by the way, Shannon?
Oh, Harper.
Harper.
Yeah.
What's up, Harper?
Hi, Harper. Say hi.
Hey. How you doing, Harper?
Yeah, she's so excited. It's her bedtime and she's watching movies and coloring. She's excited.
She is living the life right now.
I know, right?
I wish I was up this late, Harper. For those of y'all that are tuning in live, can y'all comment #team live in the comments or #team replay? But tonight, Shannon, thank you so much for being willing to just share your story and you know, take just the time to inspire other non-traditional students that will relate with your story. But this is going to be amazing. So as we begin, before we get to the good parts of your story, why physical therapy? What drew you to this profession in the first place?
Many things. So funny enough, when I went to college as an undergrad, I didn't know it was physical therapy. Oh, great job. But I wanted to work with special needs kids, and I did like equine therapy in high school. She's so excited. Yay, good job, mama. And so I ended up switching majors and becoming an English teacher, but I've always been into athletics and sports, played for fun, but also in college. And then I went into teaching and I loved it. And I was working as a CrossFit coach. And once I had my daughter, the struggle of working multiple jobs was no longer an option, right? Like I all of a sudden had these astronomical daycare bills that I had to pay, and we didn't make enough money that I could stop working to take care of her, or my husband could stop working to take care of her. But we couldn't afford it on a teacher's salary. So I went in when my daughter was about 6 weeks old, and my friend who is a physical therapist was like, just come and check out my office, come and see what I do. And I kid you not, I went in, she was 6 weeks old. She was asleep in her little carrier, and my friend's like, just leave her here, so-and-so, Dr. So-and-so will watch her. And I kid you not, 45 minutes later, I was enrolled for classes at the community college, and she's like, just take a class, see what happens. And I was like, okay, all right. And so physical therapy not only was going to answer that very real issue of, I had to, you know, I have a baby to take care of now, and we are homeowners, and the financial aspect, but I've always been somebody who my job needs to serve a bigger purpose. I don't want to just have a job for the sake of having a job. I've been there, I've done my time. I love working with kids. It's honestly why I believe I'm here, is to work with kids and better my community. And I don't know, physical therapy was just kind of a way that I could blend what I needed with like things that I'm passionate about, things that get me out of bed. And I went and did some observation hours at a pediatrics clinic, and the very first kiddo that I was in there with, and he's like 10 months old, and this sounds super dorky, but the doctor was like, he doesn't really smile or respond to people, and so just be aware. And he like rolled over and he smiled at me, and I was like, it's a sign, I need to do this. And I have just been obsessed ever since. So yeah, it's not a traditional PT, get me to PT story, but it's yeah, each experience has kind of led me, I think, to this PT school. Yeah.
Wow. How many of you that are watching live, because I know this will be a podcast episode at some point, it'll be on YouTube and whatnot, but for those of y'all that are watching this live on Facebook or on replay on Facebook, how many of you are non-traditional students? How many of you are parents? How many of you have gone down a different career path? Because that's what makes this so unique, and I think it makes it special, right? I think something about the ideal pre-PT needs to be shut down. Like I think a lot of us think that there's like this perfect ideal pre-physical therapy student when there isn't, right? Like it changes, right? So it can be from, being a teacher for 15 years, from, being a parent and being like, yo, something has to, shift, and, finding a purpose and understanding why you're becoming a physical therapist. And that's what makes this so amazing. And part of this too is to help y'all that are switching from a different path to know, hey, if you feel like this is your calling, do it. Like, trust that, right? Step into that, walk into that. Don't let the fear of the fact that you're not 21 or 22 or coming straight out of college, don't let that throw you off. And that's what makes it super cool. So appreciate you saying that. Let's dive into what your biggest obstacles has been. So obviously you decided to go down the path of, being a physical therapist, right? What were your biggest hurdles when you started on this path, or what have been your biggest obstacles? Tell us everything, because I want, for the non-traditional students that are listening to this, I want them to be like, yo, if Shannon could experience that and still get accepted into PT school, then maybe I can do it too. So what were those for you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how big of a bottle of wine do you have? Let's go.
Hey, go all in. Go.
So, biggest hurdles, I would say, a baby. She's like great, don't get me wrong, but I now understand what my parents. I was very fortunate. My parents were very vocal when I was growing up, going, wait as long as you can, wait as long as you can. So I did not have parents or grandparents going, so when are we going to have grandkids? Because it definitely, babies, man, they changed the game. Hurdles, let's see. So yeah, my daughter was born with torticollis. So she, we used to call her Zoolander. She couldn't turn her neck left. So she also was colic and lactose intolerant. Oh, you can show everybody how you pick your nose. So everybody would tell me, like, one of the I don't know, if you're a mom, you'll totally get it. Sleep when the baby sleeps, or just get your work done when the baby sleeps. And I also struggled with postpartum, and I was like, my baby doesn't freaking sleep ever. She doesn't sleep. And so trying to fit in, I mean, I started my first class when she was 6 weeks, and I don't think I would have been able to do it had I not had the online option of taking school, because sitting in a class, while I would have figured out how to make it work, I don't think I would have been as successful, because I was given the flexibility of sitting down and doing homework at midnight or at 2 a.m. I do a lot of stuff. Like, I'm a full-time high school teacher at a public high school. I've got 200 plus students that, have their own set of needs and learning challenges. I'm the director of the Kids and Teens CrossFit program at my local CrossFit box. And they're amazing humans. The people who run that box are just, I used to bring her when she was in a stroller, and, we'd have the kids class would be Heat A and Heat B. And as Heat A was working out, Heat B was hanging out with Harper, and then they'd switch. And so I think even though I've had all these hurdles, I remember once sitting in one of our very first accepted classes with you. I don't remember if it was you or Casey, but we're talking about you have to surround yourself with people who are going to support you. And if that means being like, all right, mom and dad, I got to peace out for a minute or two, then that's what you got to do. And I really took that to heart. And I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. Just trying to juggle all the pieces. And then COVID hit. And then, which I know a lot of people were, I was one of those, but I really do think it was a blessing in disguise. I went from literally telling my students a week ago, or excuse me, a year ago this week, telling them, I'll see you guys on Monday. The last thing I told them in person, leave your project where it is. We'll pick it up on Monday. Like, don't sweat it. And that was the last time I saw them in person, and literally had Saturday and Sunday to switch over to online learning with 200 students. She was 6 or 7 months old at that point. My husband's hours got cut dramatically, and we were like, how are we going to pay our mortgage? And I, meanwhile, had classes that had deadlines, and they didn't care that, you know, my husband lost his job or my daughter was sick, or they didn't care about it. They were like, okay, great, your paper's due. So trying to get that all in. And then, I don't know, I try to be an open book. I also have a learning disability. I have a diagnosed learning disability, and I, in addition to my postpartum, struggle with an anxiety disorder and ADHD. So trying to juggle all of that, and then reading stuff. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going on and on, but reading this material. I've been an English teacher for 15 years, and here I am in an anatomy class or a statistics class. Kind of frustrated because I had all those classes done as a freshman in college. I wanted to go into science, to find out all of my units had expired. I don't know. And I asked them, I was like, well, what has changed in physics over the last 10 years? Nothing has changed, but I had to go back and retake it, but which was a blessing, because the 18-year-old me most certainly would not have gotten into PT school, let me tell you. So I looked at it as, yes, it was irritating. I gave myself that period to be like, screw the man. But then looked at it like, okay, here's my clean break. Here's my opportunity to make something better, right? And the 39-year-old me is not the same student, the 18-year-old me, just as busy, still trying to do, you know, the hustle of all this, that, and the other, but definitely taking school a lot more seriously. And then just, I don't know, just trying to find the blessings in each one of these obstacles, I think is really, and that's kind of going off of what you asked me to talk about there, but just really, I really do, I think every obstacle has presented me with the ability to learn from it, and like giving myself the space to be pissed off or grieve or do whatever, but then being like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I either apply it to myself moving forward? What do you want? I literally have no idea what you want. Sorry, guys. You want to be tall? Sorry, guys. I have no idea what she's asking about. But just, and then if I couldn't apply it to me, like, how do I apply it to parenting? How do I apply it to my students? And I don't know, really understanding the stress that they go through. What do you want to do? You want to talk?
Oh, she wants to talk. Yeah.
Can you say hi to Joseph? Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, now you're gonna be shy. I'm like, I don't know what you want to be tall, you want to talk, and we're right at the cusp of being able to talk in more than just, you know, monosyllabic terms. Thank you. That was it. She just wanted to say hi. Sorry, guys. So yeah, I feel like it's just been one obstacle after another, but I mean, I can't, my options are give up or do it, right? Like, I don't have all the time in the world to be like, oh, well, I'll come back and revisit this, or I'm gonna take a break from things, which there's nothing wrong with that at all, but it just was not the way my pathway was working. I'm like, I'm turning 40. I don't want to still be in school when my daughter is at baseball games or basketball or soccer, whatever it is that she chooses to pursue. My dad did that as I was growing up. He was actually going through medical school when I was in middle school, and he was never around. And I get it. He did what he had to do for us. Like, I don't hold that against him, but I just, if I'm in a position where I can choose, I'd rather get it done while she's not going to have that lasting memory of, you know, mom was always stuck in the closet doing her homework, you know, so.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, that was a little long-winded, but.
No, I want you to say everything and anything on your mind. And I think that was amazing. Oh, can y'all see like how much of a powerhouse Shannon is? Like for those of y'all that are live right now, like, can y'all just like are y'all seeing that? Like, Shannon, you're an absolute powerhouse, because everything you just said right now was an obstacle, obviously, but yeah, you basically said, listen, I quit, I figure it out. Like that's
Yeah.
always been your mindset. And I love the fact that you did not shy from the tough moments. I love the fact that you did not shy from some of the challenges, like the postpartum. Like that's like, as a dad, I can't understand that because I have not experienced that. I'm not a mom, but for mothers that experience that, that's a lot. And what you basically said is like, I've experienced these things. I'm not hiding them. I'm not shying away from them. But basically, I had two options: like keep moving forward and figure it out for my daughter, for everything else that I have in my life, and do what I have to do, or I can basically give up. And I think that alone is what's allowed you to really just absolutely bulldoze through everything. And so I just want to say that that's a quality about you that not everybody possesses, and it takes a lot of intentional work to even get to that point. But you're absolutely amazing. I just want to put that in there.
Thank you. I'm like, I just get it done because it has to get done. Like, and I tell you, there was something about, and it again, like I think parents get it. There's something just clicked, man. I when she was born, and the reality of like, oh my God, I've got a baby, and like babies are not cheap. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. Don't get me wrong, but daycare and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, I either, like right now is my chance. I either change the trajectory of how things are going, or I suck it up and stop complaining and accept that this is the reality that I have. And it's just my mentality of it, not to say that it's right or wrong, or it's just kind of the road that I chose. I was like, I'm going to stop, relying on other people to make us financially secure, or to make sure that my daughter has those opportunities. And that's, nothing to say to like my husband or my family, and that's just how I'm wired. I've always been that way. I remember my mom when I was like 16 and my parents separated, and she had literally a mattress on the floor and a cooler because she couldn't afford a refrigerator. And I just, that even at 39, I think I was 15 when that happened, is like burned in my memory, going, I'll never put myself in a position that happens. Like, and her telling me like the same thing, like, don't ever put yourself in that position. And that's just something that's always, I guess, like why I am the way that I am, for the good and the bad, that I, take it upon myself, again, for the good and the bad, to be the responsible one who's like, okay, we gotta do this, and I drive people crazy. I'm so type A, check the box, make the list, get the sticky notes. And I drive people bonkers. But I think that also is what makes me a good teacher, and what's going to make me a good physical therapist, is being like, okay, I can identify with my AP students who are the same way that I am. I identify with those elite, athletes in high school who I hope to, work with. I understand the discipline that's necessary to be good at what you want to do, So, yeah, so that's that.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. My next question is more so on the side of, those were your big obstacles. And for those of you that missed that section of this interview, I would advise you to go back and listen to this after it's done, because that was beautifully crafted. It was just the honest truth. And I think a lot of you will be able to relate with at least a part of it. But for you, Shannon, what led you, because you joined our accepted system coaching program, right? So two questions in one. What led you to look for non-traditional guidance, right? So us, and then ultimately, how did the accepted system actually help you get to the point where you are now, which is accepted into physical therapy school?
Yeah. So I don't know if I could say that I found you, or I even went through. I didn't even know that something like this existed. Again, my same friend who got me like hooked up, Vicky G. She was physical therapist for the state of Arizona a few years back. Phenomenal human being. Like, you want to talk about like hustler, like she makes me look like a lazy Sunday. But she actually sent me a Facebook message of one of y'all's videos and said, I really think you need to check these guys out. Oh, I'm sorry, you do you. Okay, you do it. Okay. Sorry. And so I watched the video, and it was like this, watch these, I think it was like 3 videos, and answer these questions, and then you can have a phone call with, Joe's sister Casey. And so I watched those videos and sent you guys my questions, and then you called me up a week later and we talked about it, and I'm gonna be honest, like, because I'm like the curmudgeon old man that's like, get off my lawn, like that is me. And so I was like, this guy's gonna try to sell me something. And like, I was actually kind of disappointed that you didn't, because I was so prepped and ready. You know, I was in that postpartum brain, and I was like, he's gonna try to sell me this program and I can do it on my own, and rah. And you didn't. And I was like, am I not good enough? Like, why didn't you try to sell me this program? So it was brilliant, because it made me go back and look into your program and go, okay, I don't necessarily need the like, you can do it, because I'm going to do it regardless. But they've got a roadmap. They've got here's what you need to do here. Here's what you need to do here. And for my anxiety of like, oh my God, I'm going to miss something, because I'm operating in this world like that I don't know anything about physical therapy other than always being broken and being a patient myself. Like, what do I know? So it was really great to have that there. And I didn't feel like with other programs that I did end up looking at, it's very much like shoved down your throat, boot camp status. And you guys have always been like, we're here. If you need us, reach out. Here's the materials, but you know, use what you want and leave what you don't. And I just, as a mom and non-traditional student and looking at stuff at like 2 a.m., I really appreciated that. But at the same time, I loved that as soon as I messaged you or Casey or Robin, instantly, like, even if it was the middle of the night and I'm in Arizona and you guys are on the other side, and I'd still get a message, and I'd feel terrible for waking you guys up. But I just that you guys were always available. You were like, here's my, you know, here's our Vox number, here's Facebook, here's Instagram. And I really, really appreciated just having that. And so I think that's what drew me, just as an extra, like, checking my list. You know, I had somebody there, you know, y'all read my essays, you guys offered the interview practice, which I'm still kind of in disbelief that like I got picked for that, because I was like, oh, I don't have to, or messaging Casey going, I don't have to even potentially interview for like 6 more months. I'm sure there's other people. And he's like, great, I'll see you on Saturday. So, and that was priceless. Like that alone was like a godsend. It was so good to be able to practice that. But yeah, just getting in and as opposed to other programs that I had looked at that even had more of a direct connection to the university that I was applying to. You guys, it was like family. And then, you know, I did it for the shirt. So I got a shirt. And so I was in, you know, the things we do for t-shirts. No.
Always for the swag, always for the shirts. That's
always for the shirt.
Always.
Do you want me to give a kiss? Sorry, guys, we fell. Hold on.
For those of you that, for those of y'all that are not parents, I can't wait till y'all become parents, because it's like literally every time I hear her talk, I'm just smiling, because I'm like, man, that's gonna be on a live stream in the next few months. Like I'm gonna have like my son.
We're not gonna. I can't. Yeah, this is her like only social media appearance ever. So this is great. We don't put pictures of her on social media. So yeah, today's your debut. So.
Big time. Well, Shannon, so for those of y'all that are listening, that training that Shannon watched, those few videos, we've actually updated it, and it's now the Acceptance Navigator series. And so if you guys want access to that, it's 4 free videos that Casey and I created just to give you clarity, because I think a lot of times as students, we just feel stuck. We don't know like where to even begin. And if you're stuck right now, just go to acceptancenavigator.com, go watch those videos, take some notes, ask yourself, how does this apply to me? And then from there, you'll be able to know what your next steps are. So go to that link, acceptancenavigator.com, if you want those same videos, but a more updated version of it. But Shannon, let's go to the fun part of your acceptance letter. Now you've gone through this whole process, you've switched towards physical therapy, you've obviously gotten your guidance. What was the day that you finally got accepted into PT school like? I want the students that are listening to this to kind of live vicariously through you.
Okay, yeah, it was exciting, huh? Okay, so I was actually teaching, and I had started maybe a couple days before doing the like, did they send me a letter? Did they send me a letter? Which I swore I wasn't going to be that person. I saw all the memes and all the jokes, and I was like, that's not going to be me. Psh, I don't even care. And so it had been a couple days where I noticed I was doing the like, did NAU email me? And I had my AP class doing independent assignments. I didn't even realize I had picked up my phone and was checking, and I was like, oh my God. And I read, you know, congratulations. And I started, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. My students start turning on their cameras, like, what the heck is going on? But I ended up actually getting waitlisted. And I was like, okay, cool, take a deep breath. And they were like, congratulations, like we have nearly 2,000 applicants. We only accept, 100. You made the wait list. And I was like, okay. And they have it. I know. Okay, you can see. What do you want to see? You want to see what? Oh, you want to sit. Okay. We can do that. There you go. Okay, with dress. Sorry, guys. And so they had the wait list divided up by PTCAS ID. And so I did a control find and I was #1 on the wait list. And I swear to God, I thought it was a typo. And then I had put in somebody else's PTCAS ID. And so I must have checked it like a dozen times and was like, all right, I'm #1. And I kind of went through all the fields. Okay. I was very excited. She's very much my child. I get to like argue with like a 2-year-old version of myself all day. It's so fun. But I kind of went through all the fields of like, holy crap, like they chose me, and I'm #1 on the freaking wait list out of almost 2,000 people. Like, and my GPA, like, it's not bad. I think I was at like a 3.4, 3.3. My GRE scores they weren't terrible, but they were as good as they were going to get. And I was like, I'm not taking with all the, I don't know if you remember my drama of the GRE, right? Where they're like, oh, just hit, you don't want to submit. Yeah. And then it erased my test. So through all the drama, I was shocked. And then I sent it off to my friend, Vicky. And she was like, you're in, you're #1 on the wait list. You have to think at least 20 of those 100 are going to go to school somewhere else. You're in. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up, like, whatever. And then the next day I got the like, congrats, you're in. But my advice to everyone is when you have to send in your deposit, make sure you get confirmation. Because I got on Monday an email that was like, thank you for saying you're interested, but we didn't get your deposit. We've given your spot to someone else. You want to talk about flipping my lid? I went bonkers. It's all figured out and I'm going to PT school and they were wonderful about it. But it taught me a very valuable lesson to make sure you get confirmation on everything. And still don't know what happened in the paperwork process of everything, but they were like, yeah, it's very rare that somebody says, I'm coming, and then they don't send their deposit. So we thought something was wrong. So yeah, but it was so lots of feels of, I'm still kind of in disbelief. Like, I don't know. I don't want to like devalue what I do, but like, I'm a freaking English teacher. Like, are you sure that like, you read everything correctly? Like, you're sure. But I paid my deposit. There's no takebacks in PT school. So I'm in.
It's a done deal. Oh,
Done.
I love it. Wow. Yeah. Let's first of all, for those of y'all that are live right now, have y'all been enjoying tonight's interview? Because I'm having a blast, right? So let me know in the comments if y'all have been enjoying tonight's interview. And real quick, before we go to the last question, we do one of these interviews every single week from now on. Every single Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to be inspired like crazy, show up right here on Facebook and hear different stories, right? And tonight has been a blast. So Shannon, let's end it with this, right? Out of everything you've experienced, I know this question is going to be a little harder to answer than most may think, but what advice do you have for other students, knowing that there are students that are non-traditional like you, students that, feel like, this transition is a lot more challenging than they may have anticipated, students that, are just trying to look at this and figure out, like, where should I begin? How do I navigate through this? Like, out of everything you've experienced, what are some key things that you're like, hey, if there's some advice I would give from my experience, here it is. So what is that? We'll have you end tonight with the advice that you would give from your experience and journey.
Yeah. My goodness, go for it. Do it. Just, one step at a time. You don't have to have the whole plan figured out when you start, but you got to take the first step, and that's scary. I think a lot of my biggest advice comes from stuff that, you or Casey or Robin, my coach, have shared in these meetings. Especially at the beginning, these meetings were so helpful. Because it was like, okay, yeah, I'm going through that, or okay, cool. Like, I know I need to keep my eyes open for this. And just, I mean, one of you guys said, like, if it's not on the schedule, it's not important. And again, burned in my brain, if it's not on the schedule, it's not important. I have that on my refrigerator. Cause again, I told you I'm type A. My husband, like, whatever the opposite of type A is, that's him. And we work, but we drive each other crazy, and I love him to pieces. But you know, he's like, whatever happens will happen, and just go with the flow. And I'm like, I can go with the flow as long as you tell me when it's going to start and when we're going to stop flowing and in what direction we're flowing, you know? So having that schedule, but like I had to, it's not, you know, I don't want to be that like, but when you're trying, especially as a non-traditional, you know, being a mom, being a coach, being a tutor, right? I tutor for another, you know, 15 hours a week on top of teaching 200 plus students and my schoolwork. If we didn't have the schedule, then it, you know, and there were days that the schedule went to hell in a handbasket. And, you know I sit here and go, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. There were many nights of meltdowns from both she and I, like together. Sometimes it was just her, sometimes it was just me. You know, if we were sick, or, you know, nights where you're just like, I'm going to open that bottle of wine and I dare you to come and tell me to go do my chemistry homework. Like, come at me. Like, you know, so but having that schedule allowed me to go, okay, well, I can sit down and have this me time, and I know that I can fit it in at this time, or, you know, pay the consequences of that decision later on. For me, carving out family time, like every Sunday, because I didn't have assignments due, was time for my daughter and I, whether we were going, you know, to the zoo or to the park, or, you know, during COVID, it was like, let's go for a walk around the block in our little push car. But it was like designated us time. And whether that was, you know, with our bubble buddies or at home doing Zoom meetings with grandma and grandpa, I made that a priority. And I held on to that for dear life. Thank you. Okay, she's destroying my national board notebook, which is like a huge, the things we let our kids do. I'm crying on the inside. So yeah, schedules, surround yourself with people who are going to have your back. Again, another thing I learned in our accepted system meetings, and I quite frankly didn't have time for, you know, the socializing and the, hey, let's go do this, hey, let's go do that. I had to make choices, and it sucked. You know, who wants to do, I mean, no offense to people who love physics, but like, who wants to do physics as opposed to like going out and having, you know, drinks with your friends or playing with your kids or going to a concert? Like, you know, again, where I think COVID was kind of a blessing, because for a little while, is it answering? Who's on the phone? Daddy's on the phone. Tell him I said hi. So yeah, I would say that would be, you know, it, and then make a plan. You know, use the tools that you guys have in the accepted system. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, am I on the phone? Oh, how wonderful. Hello. And just make that plan. So I knew what classes I was taking, when I was taking them, what grade I had to get, when I needed to start my application, when I needed to have my essays looked at. Yeah, she's so loud that I'm getting a notification. Are you playing music?
Oh, really? It's asking you that? Oh my goodness. I am loving this so much. Just because I really feel like I'm gonna be that person. Like Casey and I are gonna be here on a live stream. I'm gonna be holding my son.
Just wait.
He's gonna be like losing his mind.
It's so awesome. And that's another thing too, like surrounding yourself with people who are not only going to support your journey, but are also going to support like your family and your kids. And my friends, my close friends are her like honorary aunts and uncles. And I know that, you know, there've been times where I'm like, crap, I forgot about this deadline. I've got this assignment due. And I know that I can call Teresa or I can call Kristen and be like, can you please pick her up from daycare and I'll meet you at the gym? And I know that they had my back. Or if, you know, I have kids whose parents didn't show up at the gym to pick them up after class, I know I can, you know, call Monica and Monica will pick up Harper and play at the, you know, daycare until I can get there. And so that's been, I mean, I have not done this alone, and that will not be forgotten at all. Like, and I don't know how I will pay it back to these folks, but someday in some way it's going to come back, and just always remembering to pay it forward when I can, you know?
Wow.
Because there's, I mean, even with you guys, like I was telling you before, if there's anything ever, like anybody out there in like accepted system land needs to talk or wants to chat things over or just, you know, open that bottle of wine, call me, because you can't do it alone. I mean you can, but why would you want to? It's so much harder, you know. And just my text messages, you know, Robin put me in touch with some other moms, and it was great to be like, hey, my daughter is starting the 2-year-old tantrums, like what is going on, you know. And hearing somebody, you know, hearing it from someone else who has gone through it or is currently going through it, just, it doesn't fix the problem, but it makes you go like, oh, okay, I can do, if they did it, I can do it, you know. So yeah,
man,
sorry.
This might have been one of my more favorite interviews for a while. Mainly, to be honest, I don't know if I would have appreciated this as much if I was not a parent yet, because I think like as a parent now,
annoyed the crap out of you if you weren't a parent yet.
Like because I'm a parent, like I've actually been enjoying every sound she's been making this entire interview. I've loved it. But Shannon, you are absolutely amazing. For those of y'all that are live right now that have enjoyed this entire interview, show Shannon some love in the comments. Tag your friends. If you're non-traditional, if you guys have other non-traditional friends that are just trying to figure this thing out, like have them come and listen to this. This will inspire the heck out of them. Even if you are a traditional student, this will inspire you. But y'all, listen, your story is yours. Do not let anyone take it from you. Your dream is yours. Don't let anyone take that away from you either, because doubts will come from anybody. I always say that the cheapest thing or the freest thing that people have to give you is their opinion, right? And their opinion is always going to be, you know, skewed to whatever their reality is. And so if you want to be a PT, go do it. If obviously it's a lot of hard work, but if you can lock into that, then the questions that you start to have are, okay, who do I need? Who do I need to keep in my circle? Shannon, you just said it, like, who do I need to kind of filter out for now? Like what do I need to shift? Like, what do my boundaries need to look like so that I can make sure that I am doing everything in my power to get to where I am today? So Shannon, you have obviously, like, you have willed your way into where you are now. You deserve everything that you have, everything you've achieved, everything you will achieve. And you are an absolute inspiration. And it's honestly an honor to know you. It's an honor to have you as part of, you know, our coaching family. And ooh, like glass, I'm like breaking. But anyway, it's an honor to have you in our family. And for those of y'all that have listened to this tonight and have said, wow, like, I want to be like that. I want to have clarity. I want to be able to feel like I have some sense of control over this application process. Go to that link that we sent y'all to before. Go to acceptancenavigator.com. We got you covered. Watch those videos. We make it super, super clear so that you can be well on your way to being the doctor of physical therapy student that every single one of you deserves to become. And Shannon just trailblazed the way for all of y'all. So thank you so much, Shannon. Anything else that you would like to say to the people before we wrap it up?
Go out and rock and roll, man. It's totally worth, you know, short-term, what do I say? Short-term hustle for the long-term gains. Like, you know, right. And oh, another thing, you told us to like write out our whys and write out our goals. I have it. You can't see it from where I'm sitting. I'm balancing her. Otherwise I turn my computer around. But I have that statement written and it's on my wall. And I've got a picture of my daughter on my wall. So those like 2 a.m. crying over the physics and chem textbooks, it was there and in my face to constantly remind me, like, this is why I am doing what it is that I'm doing. And I thought it was super cheesy, and I'm not one for, you know, the cheese, which is why I teach high school and not kindergarten. But it's, you know, it was absolutely 100% worth it. Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Always knowing why you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's what allows you to keep going, even when it's not fun or easy, or if it's just straight terrible, right? Or stressful or frustrating.
Yes.
You keep moving forward. So for those of y'all watching, keep moving forward, y'all. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a blessed one. Thank you once again, Shannon. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Hey, anytime. Y'all have a good one. Bye.